SHMACKEMAGOB, people, it's me. And here it's time for me to do my ticket stubs again. This is part 3. Man, it's going to be like a 100-part series because these tickets are endless. I've been to a lot of shows. And how I do this, in case you haven't seen part 1 and part 2, I grab my camera and I point it at my photo album here with the ticket stubs, and I go as long as I can. And let's do it. Alright, here we go with David Lee Roth and Cinderella. This was Little Ain't Enough tour, Miami Arena. This was the last Diamond Dave solo arena tour. Went downhill after this because grunge came in and you weren't supposed to have fun anymore. Clash of the Titans. This was Megadeth headlined it. I know they switched around a lot. It was Megadeth, then Slayer, then Anthrax, then Alice in Chains opened the show. And I believe all performances of this show right here is bootlegged and up on YouTube. I believe they all are, every band. Great show. The Ramones at the Cameo Theater. There's so many times I saw the Ramones before this, and I don't have those ticket stubs because a lot of them were walk up and at clubs that didn't, you know, you wouldn't get a ticket stub, you just go in. This was maybe like the 5th time I saw the Ramones. Could have been 91, I can't remember, maybe Mondo Bizarro tour or Brain Drain, one of those two. Ramones always kicked ass live. Motorhead, Dangerous Toys and Metal Church at the Button South. This is the first time I met Lemmy. He was so cool. And Wurzel shaked my hand and he hurt my hand because his handshake was so fucking strong. And I met Filthy. I met them all. They all signed my rock and roll LP, and I had Lemmy sign a couple CDs for me. An interview CD. It's almost 1916. This was the 1916 tour, but I had him sign my almost 1916 CD. Badlands with Soraya in '91. Button South. This was I loved Badlands. Badlands was an awesome fucking band. I met Ray Gillen. I think it was this show, or maybe it was the next time they played the Button. Great band. This was Voodoo Highway tour. Though I met, yeah, this is the one I met Ray Gillen and Jakey Lee, and I also met but I saw Badlands 2 times before this at the Button South headline, and I believe it was with Great White and Tesla. They opened that show. Armored Saint. Finally, I get to see the mighty Armored Saint on the Symbol Salvation tour. First time in South Florida. I was so drunk at this show. I remember it all though, but I had a video camera and I filmed myself with John Bush and Joey VIERA, and I was so ridiculously drunk. You know me, I'm not really shy on anything, but that's one video I'm very ashamed of. I have it, and nobody will see it. Overkill at the Button South with Galactic Cowboys. Remember that band? And Anacrusis. I don't remember Anacrusis. What tour was this? I think this was Horoscope. Good shit, man. That was a great show. Guns N' Roses. This was New Year's Eve, December 31st. With Soundgarden opened this. That was a good show. A very long show, and if I remember correctly, Axl Rose showed up on time, and he was in a good mood that night. Ozzy, this was called the Theater of Madness tour at Sunrise. This is the same venue I saw Ozzy with Randy Rhoads. Amazing show. Who opened this one? Oh man. Oh, Infectious Grooves opened this show, and this was, and then he came back with the No More Tours tour. Played Miami Arena. You'll probably see that ticket soon. But this was the Theater of Madness tour. They played, I think it was Snowblind that night. That's what was different. Skid Row. Pantera blew them off the stage. Pantera opened the show, but Skid Row was really good that night. But Pantera blew them away. But that was a really good, solid show. An Evening with Metallica. This was the Black Album tour at the Miami Arena. This was an awesome show. An insanely cool show. No opening act. Gwar. This was the opening band for this show was Torturers, and you know, I mean, Torturers I saw many times after that, and they kind of tamed their show. This one, man, there were lesbians with dildos fucking each other on stage. It was, you know, nude chicks. It was insane. But, and you know, Gwar was Gwar, and I believe that was their first album. Hello, I could be wrong, but I believe it was, or maybe it was Scumdogs. You can hardly see the text on this one. That was Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath. You can hardly see it, but it's Black Sabbath, and opening this show was Motorhead and Morbid Angel. And that was a great show. It was the only time I saw Black Sabbath, Tony Martin Cross Purposes tour. It was awesome. And what's funny about this show, no, I don't have the ticket for it. Right after this show, we ran to this club called Rosebuds and saw Jakey Lee. So I saw 2 shows in one night. There's the Miami Arena show with Ozzy Osbourne. I can't remember who opened this. Maybe Faster Pussycat or something. I can't remember. No More Tours tour. Good show. Lollapalooza 92. Now that date there, August 22nd, I don't know if it was the day after or a couple days after, Hurricane Andrew hit us. And my God, that was horrible. We went out of power for like a month. But this show had Red Hot Chili Peppers, Ministry, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam, Ice Cube, Jim Rose Sideshow, I think Screaming Trees. Yeah, it was an alright show. And yeah, right there, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and that was September 2nd. By this time, I got so sick of living without power, I went up to see the show and stayed there, and stayed in a hotel. And we walked out during Guns N' Roses, because it was so boring. They were really boring that night. Slash was on his 5th guitar solo, and we just left. But Metallica was awesome. I remember they played Shortest Straw that night, which was a treat. And that's when James was all burned up, so they had John Marshall from Metal Church play guitar that night. Megadeth, Miami Bayfront Stadium. This was the same night as Kiss at the Miami Arena, and I chose this one over the Kiss show. This was Megadeth's Suicidal Tendencies. I think that's it. This was Megadeth at their height. I met Dave Mustaine earlier. I believe at this time, Countdown Extinction was like #2 on the chart. So this was Megadeth at the peak of success. And it was a cool show. Headbangers Ball was there. Cheap Trick at the Button South. I have a million Cheap Trick tickets that are not here. I remember this show vividly because this is the show I saw them play Heaven Tonight for the very first time. And I love that song. But then after this show, every single show I saw after that for many years, they kept playing Heaven Tonight. And I was like, all right, stop playing it. Though I love that song, but not something I want to see all the time. I see Cheap Trick. Pantera, this was with White Zombie at the Edge, Vulgar Display of Power. Fuck was that. Pantera was the best damn live band in the 80s. I mean 90s if you ask me. Always an amazing, amazing show. Body Count, this was with Exodus, D.R.I, and Propane at the Cameo, and this was at the height of the Cop Killer controversy. I met everybody in Body Count. I had them sign my Cop Killer CD. Cops were all over the place. And it was a great show. Awesome bill. This was Metallica on the Black Tour, long time after that Miami Arena show, but they were still doing the Black, and with no opening act. We went to Fort Myers to see this. And one thing I remember about this show was they played Motor Breath. First time I saw them play Motor Breath. So it was worth the trip for that alone. Ace Frehley at the Button South. This was the best time I ever saw Ace Frehley solo. It was, I remember this one, man. He came out, I don't remember, I think he opened with Rip It Out, but he went right into Parasite. That was an awesome show. Flotsam and Jetsam at Washington Square. Washington Square was such a cool venue. And opening that show was this band called Damn the Machine with Chris Poland from Megadeth. Good show. I love Flotsam. Paul McCartney. I went to Orlando to see this Off the Ground tour. Amazing. He always played like a 3-hour show. Huge McCartney fan. Overkill at the Button South. This was I Hear Black, I believe. And I got a funny story about this. I knew a guy, may he rest rest in peace. His name was Alan Temple. Old guy, he looked like Santa Claus. And he was pen pals with Blitz at the time. And we're in the back, and I'm hanging out with Alan, and Blitz comes out of the bus, and he says to Alan, "Hey, Alan, how you doing?" He goes, "Hey, Alan, what do you think of the new album?" And Alan goes, "It's fucking horrible." I loved Alan. Rest in peace. And for the record, I love I Hear Black. Blitz is a really cool dude. Damn Yankees. Oh, man, yeah, this was... I believe Quiet Riot was on this show, and there was like a handful of bands. For only time I saw Damn Yankees. I'm a big Nugent and Tommy Shaw fan, and I like Jack Blade, so... And I like that first Damn Yankees album. I think that was the second album by this time. Anthrax, this was with White Zombie, Sound of White Noise tour with John Bush. First time I saw him with John Bush. Amazing show. And I saw him a couple more times on that tour. Mercyful Fate, this right here has to be like the second or third best show I ever saw in my life. All the way front row, front and center. This whole show is up on YouTube. And some of this show was filmed for the video, The Bell Witch. Probably my second to third favorite show of all time. Historic. Nirvana. Yeah, I saw Nirvana. I liked Nevermind a lot, but this was already in utero. And it wasn't a good show, I gotta say. It wasn't that good. I think Kurt was on something, like heroin or something. But it was sloppy, and it looked like he didn't care. Aerosmith, 94. This was already an album I don't like. I think Get a Grip or something. I don't remember who... You know, to tell you the truth, I don't even remember this show. Been to so many. Alright, now we've flipped the page over. We're going to do 2 more pages, and that's it. Till next time. Zoom in there. White Zombie at the Edge. I don't remember this show. I'm getting a little hazy here. This was Black Sabbath. Opening was Motorhead and Morbid Angel. This was a Cross Purposes tour. Only time I saw Sabbath with Tony Martin. And I love Tony Martin. So it was a treat to see this. And what's crazy about this show was... I think I said this earlier on that other Black Sabbath ticket. If I didn't, then forgive me. But yeah, this show... After this show, we went to a club called Rosebuds to see Jakey Lee. So I saw 2 shows in one night. Pink Floyd, Joe Robbie Stadium. I saw the other one too. Momentary Lapse. This was a Division Bell. And honestly, it was alright. No Roger Waters. They didn't play nothing from Animals. So I was, yeah, whatever. Ace Frehley +5 Lounge. I remember going to this show going, man... That Button show was awesome. Then I went to this one and it was still an awesome show, but nothing near how good it was at +5. But it was a good. I think this may have been the Just for Fun tour. I caught a pick at that one. I remember. Anthrax at the Edge. This was Sound of White Noise. They came back with Fight. Rob Halford, his band, and it smoked. And then me and my friend Eve drove up to the Edge in Orlando. That looked identical to the Edge in Fort Lauderdale. Both venues looked identical. And there they wrote Fight. But Fight opened both of them. Great shows. I remember Package Rebellion was played at these shows where it wasn't played when I saw them with White Zombie. Alright. Ted Nugent at the Button South. This was a cool show. I remember when I went to the show and Derek St. Holmes was there. I was like, fuck yeah. I love the Nuge, man. I don't care about politics or none of that shit. I'm talking about the music. I had Dio sign this ticket. This was Dio at the Button South Strange Highways tour. Dude, when they played We Rock, a pit broke out. It wasn't We Rock, Mob Rules. A fucking pit broke out. It was awesome. And that was the first time I met Ronnie. I met him one more time on the Magica tour. Amazing show. An amazing man. Look at my documentary and I talk about how cool it is to meet him. Soundgarden Sunrise Musical Theater, this show sucked. The sound sucked. They looked like they didn't want to be there. Very disappointed with that show. And I love Soundgarden. Meatloaf. I went to this show, even though I don't mind Meatloaf, but Cheap Trick opened. That's why I went. And I was dating a girl that loved Meatloaf at the time. I Will Do Anything for Love. What was it? Bat Out of Hell 2 was huge. It was that tour. But I really went for Cheap Trick, but I stayed. And it was alright. Bernie Torme was on guitar for Meatloaf that night. Metallica, this was probably the best Metallica show. Bicentennial Park, Candlebox, I don't care for them. Suicidal Tendencies and Fight were the opening acts, but this was an awesome set list. Disposable Heroes. They did so many cool deep tracks. The Guy That Failed, like the best song on Black Album for me. Bunch of other songs. And Rob Halford came out at the end and did Rapid Fire with them, and it's on YouTube. Filmed. Heritage Festival. Cheap Trick. Alright, Cheap Trick, South Florida Fairground. This was the Busted Tour. And I remember, it used to be Six Flags, that place. Cheap Trick's always great live. Never seen a bad Cheap Trick show. Vince Neil. This was at the Button South. This was, I believe, the Exposed tour, but Steve Stevens wasn't there. Steve Stevens already left the band. It was an okay show. Pantera. This was a Vulgar Display of Power with Typo Negative. Again, great fucking show. Insane pit. The next time I would see Pantera was the crazy... No, a couple more times after that. I'll talk about that when we get there. Slayer with Machine Head and Biohazard. This was, whatever album that was. Divine Intervention. Great show. Crazy pit. Good times. Slash's Snake Pit at the Cameo Theater. Yeah, this was with Gilby Clarke, the guy from Jellyfish, singing. It was good, man. Slash was... I'm not the biggest Slash fan, but I do admit he's a good guitarist, a great guitarist. And that night, he was awesome. The Black Crowes, I hate this band. My brother, I went with my brother, and they were terrible. And I'm not saying because they hate them. That guy, Rich Robertson, the guitar player, he leaned against his amp during a lot of songs like Bored, trying to piss off his brother. They weren't into it. I felt like, God, if I was into them, I'd feel ripped off. The Ramones again at the Edge. This was, again, an amazing show. I think this was Brain Drain or Acid. What was Acid Eater, maybe? Ramones rules. Who's this? I can't make it out. Oh, Danzig. This was a Danzig, Prong, and Marilyn Manson before Marilyn Manson became big. Danzig 4 tour, the last Danzig album I really like. But Chuck Biscuits wasn't there anymore. Tom Petty at the Miami Arena. Great show. This was the second time. No, the first time I saw Tom Petty. Great show. Megadeth with Korn, Fear Factory, and Flotsam. I had no... Korn wasn't big yet, but yet they were above Flotsam, and so was Fear Factory. Fear Factory, I like the first one. Soul, the Machine, I own that, and the second album was good. After that, I don't care. Flotsam, I like more than Fear Factory and Korn put together. Should have been higher in the bill. But, popularity contest. Prodigy. I went to this because of a girl. Not into them. And the show was interesting, though. It was fun, but still didn't make me run out and buy their shit. The Bad Boys of Rock and Roll Tour. This was the Button South when they changed their name to Club Casablanca. Ironically enough, huh? Ace Frehley, first time I saw Peter Criss live, man. He did Dirty Livin'. I believe he did Baby Driver that night, too. And then he came out during Ace's set and did Strange Ways. It was awesome. AC/DC. This was probably the Ball Breaker tour. Always kicks ass at the Miami Arena. Notice how some tickets are not fading out and some tickets really are. Alright, White Zombie again. Where was this? Miami Arena. I do remember this one. And I remember the band that opened it, were they called Filter or something? The one, Hey Man, Nice Shot. That singer was so pompous. A fucking douchebag. And they sucked. White Zombie was good. Though Rob skips a lot of songs when he sings. Vince Neil, Mr. Laughs, yes, a comedy club. This was the second album, Carved in Stone, which I actually like. Take out like the rap and those silly songs. It's a pretty dark album. I dig it. And it was a good show. Tesla at Sunrise Musical Theater. I think this is when they were 4-piece. When that guitar player, I don't know his name, Tommy something, was out of the band. And I dig Tesla, so I went. Iron Maiden, oh man. Iron Maiden at the Edge, which is like, you know, a club. This dark times, man. This was with Blaze Bayley, the X Factor, and dude, Blaze was awesome live. Not that great on the record, but this was a great show. I think Fear Factory opened this one. Who is this? I think this is Fight, right? Oh, Foo Fighters. Yeah, I remember this one, the Foo Fighters. This is their first album. I'm not a Foo Fighters fan, but my friend's girlfriend couldn't go at the end. She was sick or something. So I tagged along with them for a free ticket, and yeah, I didn't care for it. Ministry at West Palm Beach Auditorium. This was Filth Pig. And that album, like, let me down. I'm a big fan of the 2 albums before it, the 3 albums before it, you know. But this album was kind of lame, but the show was good. I mean, when they played the newer stuff, I didn't care. Anyway, that's it for now. Well, there you go. That's it for now as far as my ticket stubs go. They'll be at part 4 in the future. Thank you for watching, everybody. If you want to donate, I got my PayPal in the description below. And please subscribe to my channel if you like what you see, and press that little notification. Little bell. That means you'll get notifications when I put something up. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great one, and SHMACKEMAGOB. Hey, check out my podcast, The VIERA Vault, on Spreaker, YouTube, and iTunes. Subscribe. The links are below.
Looking for some new podcasts to listen to? Well, Rat Salad Review Network has plenty of shows to choose from. Like Rat Salad Review, where they discuss the latest rock and metal news, as well as interviews and albums. Album vs. Album, the King Diamond Podcast, with Wayne Noon, Greg Norgal, and sometimes this guy.
SHMACKEMAGOB!
Ralph Vieira is also on our network with the VIERA Vault. There's also Old Man Metal's Musings, where he discusses heavy metal and beer. Music is Life with Lou Mavs. The Right Opinion for those who love politics. A South Park podcast called Suck My Balls. The Infinite Fringe. A watch-along wrestling show called Beyond Bushido. Ex-Stradivarius guitarist, the Timo Tolkki podcast. And the Great Harry Barnett with I Don't Even Like Podcasts. So check out ratsaladreview.com or search Rat Salad Review on YouTube, Podbeam, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, and more.